What's up, YouTube? Knight's Edge here again. Got a little versus video for you guys today. Battle video between three pretty similar knives. We got the Kershaw Bel-Air, the Hogue Deka, and the Benchmade Bugout. There's subtle differences between them, and some differences are more important than others. We'll get all into that and talk all about it here. Got a little chart that I made. Kind of was trying to figure out like different categories, price, ergonomics, combined with fit and finish, steel type, hardware, the weight, availability, how easily you can get them on a regular basis, and ease of manipulation, and the handle material. So I'm going to rank all three. It's kind of going to be a little different than like a normal review, you know. It's a little bit off kilter, so get a snack and kick back and see what we come up with here. So, number one, first contender, you got the Kershaw Bel-Air. All right. Kershaw Bel-Air, magnet cut blade, stonewash, black wash finish, aluminum handles. Hogue Deka. This is a FRN type blade, hard, like a super hard plastic. Magnet cut blade also, and you have a Benchmade Bugout. This is a Grivery FRN hard plastic kind of blade with just like a satin finish kind of on it, and S30V on the blade there. So similarities are pretty easy, you know, to point out. They're pretty similar in size. All three knives are. You can do you know, size comparisons. They pretty much stack up pretty equally to a lot of other like common knives, right? So you got the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is bigger than all three of them, right? Easily bigger than all three of them. And you got the Spyderco Para 3, right around the same size as the three of them. Para 3 I didn't want to put in the video, you know, because I mean it's a totally different lock style, totally different knife. So all three knives are similar in size. I had to cut the video, sorry about that. But yeah, the Paramilitary 2 we did already, and the Para 3, they're more along the lines of the size of the Para 3. But like I was saying, the lock, you know, on the Para 3 is a lot different blade shape. So I didn't think the Para 3 would really, you know, belong in the video, because these are pretty similar. So aside from the obvious, you know, size, they are also similar in the fact that they all use the crossbar lock. So Kershaw's got their own crossbar lock. Hogue has the Able lock, crossbar lock, and Benchmade has the original crossbar lock, which is the axis lock. So kind of couldn't really put a category in them for lockout type, you know. So a little bit unfair to put lock in there, pointless, I guess, to put lock in there. Now they do feel a little different as far as lockout goes, and I'll just include that kind of in the fit finish. But the Benchmade, and this is Mr. Eddie's got this one, but the other Benchmade he had was the other Bugout that he let me borrow. It's kind of similar to that. He let me borrow this different Bugout just to do this video with, but the action kind of similarly had a kind of a pull to it, right? So when you go to disengage it, it kind of doesn't want to immediately disengage, you know, super smooth. Now it's not hard at all to disengage it. You know, I wouldn't even classify that as like a lock stick, really. It's just a fact, you know, something that's there. And the Hogue Deka, kind of the same thing. You know, it kind of wants to stay there, and if you listen, well, I don't even know if you can hear it, but if you listen, I put it up close. Yeah, I don't know. You might not be able to hear that, but it does kind of want to stay there and stick, you know, so it kind of has a little bit of a catch to it when you pull it. No big deal, you know, I mean, it disengages and locks, unlocks reliably every time. But it just has a little bit of a catch to it. Now the Bel-Air is, you know, this one's been disassembled and reassembled also. and it has absolutely nothing. You know, it is totally smooth, buttery smooth with the disassembly, or not disassembly, with the unlocking. So I would have to, you know, kind of add a little point to the Bel-Air for fit and finish on that end. You know, I mean, I know that's not fit and finish, but it is a quality type of thing with the way that the lock sticks. So I would, you know, kind of describe it as that. Let's see. We'll do the first one at the top that I got here is price. Probably should have put that last, but I pulled up all three. Let me see here. I pulled up all three of them on the same website, which is Blade HQ. So you got the Benchmade Bugout 535. This is it, 162. All right. So Bugout 162. No, it's not a sale price. It's a regular price. This is the Hogue Deka 148. So far, the Deka is ahead in the price category. And then you got the Kershaw Bel-Air. Now, right now, it's on sale for, you know, $129.99, $130 get you a Kershaw Bel-Air. Normally, it's $150 when it's not on sale, so I'm not going to include that, you know, the sale price. I would say, as far as the three of these, the Deka, the Kershaw Bel-Air normal price is $149.99, so it's normally $150. The Deka, this is the highest I've ever seen it, $148.46, but they are quite frequently on sale for as low as, I've seen them as low as $98, which is crazy. I actually bought mine last year for, I think I paid $105 for it, you know, on sale. So I would give a slight edge to that, to the Deka as far as price goes. So let me go ahead and I'll put these here on the side. And what I'll do is I'll go 1 through 5, right? So the Benchmade, you know, frequently the worst with price. Actually surprising that it's as close as it is. Still, it's, you know, $13 higher than the next one down, right? So I'll say the Benchmade, I would put it at a 3 for price. The Bel-Air, normal price for is $149.99, $150. So I would put it at a 4 for price. All right, and the Deka, being as how it's normally lower than what it is right now, it's like a base level price, and the Deka I have seen go on sale quite a bit more. I'd give it a slight edge over the Bel-Air and put it at a 5 for price. And, you know, this is as of right now. You know, what I've seen, I've priced these things out quite a bit. You know, I mean, I've looked at all three knives. This is mine. This one belongs to Stephen Weigel, Lanyard Man. Thanks to him for letting me borrow it. This one belongs to Mr. Eddie 411. You can check him out on Instagram. It's one of the knives he let me borrow, and this is the reason he let me borrow, is this review, or this battle comparison video. So I would say, as far as those three go, from what I've seen, you know, how many times I've looked at them online, you know, I get notifications on price drops from all kinds of different knife retailers all the time. And from what I've seen, as far as those three go, the Deka is the better one of the three with price. But the Bel-Air hasn't went up any in price, and it is on sale right now for $125, right, or $129.99. So that's a good thing. Bugout, I have not frequently seen it on sale. So next category, we're going to go with Ergonomics / fit finish. Now I kind of did the chart thing as like, you know, to kind of make it fair to me. Now and what I mean by that is I'm kind of biased. You know, I do have one of these knives that is my favorite, right? So I'm trying to determine, you know, with myself, which one is actually the better knife too. So That's why I did the whole chart thing, you know, just to kind of try to narrow it down. That way, maybe at the end, I'll be even surprised by the result, you know. So anyway, next category, ergonomics, fit to finish. We'll start with the Deka. Deka, it feels pretty good. You know, it's got a little jimping up top there. The this little hump here, this is, and I wear a large size glove. I have average, I guess you could say, size hands. Full 4-finger grip on it, choke back, choked up. I can't really choke up unless I just rest my finger right here and put my thumb right here. I can choke up like that. You know, I can't fully, you know, like grip it choked up because it, you know, there's no forward choil like that. So, as far as like I said at the beginning, I'd have to deduct a little bit, you know, because this does have that kind of initial pull back whenever you're trying to disengage that lock. So it does have the jimping up top. It is, you know, it feels good, choked back, choked up, not too bad, you know. I feel pretty locked in like that, so I'm not gonna, you know, really bitch about it not having a forward choil or anything like that. This hard plastic FRN is, you know, it's contoured a little bit around here. It's got groove patterns here, contoured, chamfered, whatever, around the outside edges. Inside's a little catchy, you know, it's a little coarse right there. So I would probably give the ergonomics fit to finish of that, just in the category and the way that we're dealing with it, a 3 on the Deka. So I'm going to put a 3 there for the Deka. All right, next will be the Bugout. Now this is the same type of material, a little bit different, well, a lot different pattern. You know, it's kind of like a diamond pattern that's carved into that. And the internals, kind of the same, you know, hard catch. You know, it's more rigid on the inside right there. Not really an issue, but still a little more rigid. This doesn't have a forward choil either. There's jimping here, but there's no jimping on top of the blade. It's I guess because of the pattern, it feels a little more comfortable. I still, you know, I can get a 4-finger grip, choke back, choke up, same story, no forward choil, so I'm gonna have to put my index finger there. I give this the same, well, I'd go a little better than the Deka probably, just because of the pattern on the FRN. Feels better to me. And I mean, this is my list, so, you know, your list, you know, may vary. That's what I'm trying to say. I guess it's dependent on user opinion highly, but I'm trying to get it as accurate as I can for everyone out there. Now, this is the Bel-Air. This is the last one we're going to do with the ergonomics / fit to finish. This one feels a lot better to me, but this also is aluminum, right? So, you know, that's a big thing. You know, you're not dealing with hard plastic. I would much rather any day of the week, and I don't know about any of you, but most of the people watching, I would think, would much rather deal with aluminum than an FRN. Now, I don't know how much, you know, more expensive that is or less expensive, whatever, to do. You know, I'm not a knife maker, manufacturer. I'm just a dude sitting here on YouTube. But this does have some jimping up top, and it's got a little spot for your finger right there, same as the other two, right? So you notice that's the same as the other two. Choke back, got a full 4-finger grip, choke back, you know, barely. My pinky's kind of hanging off the end when my finger's crowded right there, but I mean, I'm not trying to squeeze them together or anything. So full 4-finger grip, and then choked up, you know, same thing. I got my index finger on that little bottom hump right there, and my thumb up here with a little bit of jimping there also. As far as inside being grabby, catchy, that's chamfered, and also had this liner goes all the way down, so it's more smooth, I would say, on the inside also. So as far as fit to finish ergonomics, I would have to give that one to the Bel-Air. I'd give it a 5, you know, I mean, for the size and everything. In this category, in this comparison, it does feel the best out of all of them. Now, steel, you got S30V on the Bugout. and on the other two Magna Cut. Now these are all three, also probably should have mentioned this at the beginning, but they're all three made in the USA. So all three USA made knives, you know, that's a good thing. But the steel category, I have not experienced it myself, but I've heard that the older Dekas, not the newer ones, but the older ones that first came out when they first came out in Magna Cut, and this is one of them, that they treated it fairly soft. So I don't know. That might be true. That might not be true. You know, that's kind of hearsay. But I did notice that the edge didn't last that long. It lasts. You know, I cut rope with it. You know, rubber, cardboard, open boxes, stuff like that, and it lasted a decent amount. I mean, it wasn't like you know, it wasn't as bad as 8CR or anything, you know, it wasn't like total crap or anything like that, but it did seem like the edge didn't last that long. Now this one, I haven't put an edge on this yet. I might not, but I mean, this seems like the Magna Cut seems like it's a little bit better to me. It has lasted with about the same amount of cutting as I did with the Hogue Deka, but then had to end up putting that on, you know, had to sharpen it. So, and this one is still pretty sharp. I would probably give steel, definitely would put the Bugout down probably about a 2. So let's go ahead and we'll put the Bugout at a 2. The Bel-Air would put at a 4.5. And the Deka, I would say, would be at a 4. Same steel, but I think that might have been treated a little softer. The edge definitely lasted longer on the Bel-Air. Now, hardware, we'll get out, let's see, get out the bit driver here. So, this is a T8, and let me show you all that. T8. Body screws on this, that's going to be a T6. I think the pivot, yeah, that's a little loose. But yeah, that's definitely a T8. And that's not Torx, it's just rounded. So pivot's a T8. Captive pivot, that's a good thing, right? Body screws almost positive, yeah, T6. T6 pocket clip and T6 on the body screws. And your Hogue Deka, T8 on that, T8 on that. So the body screws so far T8, pocket clip T8, Torx 8, T8 on that. So T8 all the way around. That's awesome. That's going to get a 5. I totally agree with that. I wish all knives were like that, either T8 or T10 for all the hardware. So pivot T8 and body screws and pocket clip T8 on that. All right, Kershaw, it's not a T8, it's a T6, I think. Yeah, T6, 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 and this is a T8, yeah, T8. Captive pivot on that, so that's a good thing. That's a captive pivot, and that's a captive pivot. So I would say altogether not too terribly bad. The Hogue does have a little bit, well, let's see, you got a pivot screw, right? Then you got 1, 2, 3 body screws. 1, 2, 3, yeah. The Bugout, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 body screws, pivot screw. Deka, you got anything internal? No. You've got 1, 2 body screws. Yeah, 1, 2 body screws. No, 3, because you got to include, well, no, just 2. So yeah, so okay, so The Deka has more body screws, but the Deka also has T8 on all of them, so that's a good thing. And let's get the T6 out. I want to try something here. Yeah, that's a Torx, so that's good. This one, T6 on that, so that's good. Wish that had a thumb stud that you could get off with that, but you can take this off. I've taken it off before, so it is a removable thumb stud. Just can't use the Torx bit to remove it. So I would say, as far as hardware goes, I'd have to give the Deka the edge, just because of the fact that you're looking at T8 all the way down, you know, pocket clip screws and everything. So I would say on this hardware, I would go with a 3 for the Bugout. I would go with a 3 for the Bel-Air, or no, I think 3.5 for the Bel-Air, just because the it has one less body screw, so that's a good thing. And for the Deka, I would go with a 4.5 for the Deka, not a full 5, just because it doesn't have the Torx bit for the thumb studs. All right, now weight. This will be an easy one. All right, I think, as long as the scale is working. So weight, let me turn that on. It'll probably help. Bugout 1.9. Deka 2.1. I would think this one would be heaviest, just because aluminum. 3.0. Yeah, 3.0 on the Bel-Air, 2.1 on the Deka, 1.9 on the Bugout. So I don't really think anything under 3 and under is significant. But if you're looking for lightweight, and a lot of people are in this category, I would have to give the edge, you know, a slight edge to the Bugout. So as far as weight goes, and this grade is only within its own category, right? So, you know, I'm not going to do a video with Shaman versus Mannix versus paramilitary and have the same grading scale, you know, because these are all similar knives, if that makes any sense. So weight, having to give it to the Bugout, 5 on weight, you know, super light, way under the ounce and inch ratio. The Deka coming in pretty close, 4.5 with that 0.2 of an ounce, not really significant at all, but it is a factor. And the Bel-Air, I would say 4. You know, still pretty good weight ratio at all. To me personally, not significant. I actually prefer knives to be a little weightier, you know, than lighter, because I remember they're there. But it is a fact. So availability, the Bel-Air is a newer knife and is a little bit less available. The other ones are pretty available. So I'd have to go with 5 on the Bugout. Hogue Deka pretty available, 5. And the Bel-Air, I'd say probably, I don't know. I mean, it's unavailable on DLT right now, but it is available on Blade HQ. And on, let's see, what was the other site that I looked up? It's unavailable on Smoky Mountains, but is available on DLT and is available on Blade HQ. So I would say, you know, I mean, just because it's newer and it's kind of like the hot new thing, I guess, maybe in this, you know, category, but it is still pretty available, even though it's newer. And Kershaw's a pretty big company, so you know they're going to be pumping them out. So I'd say 4.5 for that, you know, just a little bit below. Ease of manipulation. That another thing with that is the lock stick that kind of has been on the Deka since I've had it. No matter, you know, how I've taken it apart, put it back together, whatever, it's still got a little bit of stick there. And this Bugout and the other Bugout, both of them have a little bit of lock stick. I did just tighten that pivot screw, so I might have over tightened it. But yeah, I'd say ease of manipulation, you know, the thumb studs are all fairly comfortable. Now the Deka, I would say, would go last on this, just because of the fact that these thumb studs are a little bit grabby. I don't know if it's because maybe they stick out just like maybe a 1/16 of an inch too much, a little bit, or because they're a little rougher on the ends, not as refined on the ends as the other ones, but they do grab a little more. These are fatter thumb studs, but they are these circular kind of patterns towards the end of them, kind of, you know, make it smoother. So I would have to say that, and along with the fact that it is just buttery smooth with that crossbar lock on the Bel-Air, I'd have to give that category also to the Kershaw Bel-Air. So let me get the sheet back out. Ease of manipulation. I give the Bel-Air a 5 on that. The Deka, I don't know, probably the Deka and the Bugout should be right at the same as far as ease of manipulation, but I would say the Deka is a 4 and the Bugout is a 4.5, just because of the fact that those thumb studs are a little grabby on the Deka. They will grab material. All right, and the last category we got is handle material. So I would, you know, the material between the Bugout and the material on the Deka are fairly close to each other. You know, they feel differently because they're contoured differently and they've got a different pattern on them. I would give the edge to that, a little bit of an edge to the Bugout, but I'm still not really a big fan of either one of these materials. I'd much rather G10, you know, than a hard plastic like that. And I would also much rather aluminum, and that's what this is. So for that, I would give the last category here, I would give the Bel-Air a 5. I'd give the Bugout a 4, and I'd give the Deka, I'd probably give the Deka a 3.5, right? Just because of the fact that, you know, it feels a little more rigid. You know, not necessarily the quality of material being different between these two, because I'm pretty sure this is pretty close to the same material. But it does feel a little more rigid on that one. So we'll add them all up. Let's see what we got here. So this is probably going to take another 30 minutes for me, right? 9 and 4, it's 13 and a half. 13 and a half is, let's see. All right, so time lapse there, right? Cut the video. Does that look good? So we got, with the Bel-Air, you got 35 and a half, the Bugout 30, and the Deka 33 and a half. So coming in first place, the winner is the Bel-Air. Last place was the Bugout. A lot of it was due to that price. That kind of killed it a little bit, right? But the Deka kind of right in between the two. So, I mean, that's kind of how I felt going in. If the price wasn't a factor, I would say this one and this one would actually be right on neck and neck with this one. And if this one had the same hardware as this, not, you know, T6s, then I would even say the Bugout would be better. If you don't have to disassemble them and you already own both of them, I would go with the Bugout over the Deka. But I would definitely go with the Bel-Air over all three, just in this little category, you know, of these three similar knives. So anyway, that was fun for me to do, and been wanting to do that for a long time. So thanks to Stephen Weigel for letting me borrow your Kershaw Bel-Air. Thanks to me, I guess, for buying that Deka a couple years ago before I even had a knife channel. And thanks to Mr. Eddie for letting me borrow this awesome Benchmade Bugout. So that's about it, I guess. And I will probably do some more battle videos. Got a couple more ideas in mind, so kind of stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content. Like the video, it helps me out a lot. Really appreciate everyone that watches all the time. Means the world to me. And I will see you guys on the next one.